Tonight is a very special night. We have Rosh Hashanah. And anyone that has learned a little bit of Gemara knows that Masechet Rosh Hashanah is, although it's a very small Masechet as far as the number of pages, it's a very difficult Masechet when it comes to calculations, specific details, but also specific statements. One of them that we've mentioned countless times about the judgment of the wicked people. A person that does not lay tefillin, throughout their life, a person that's a mechalel Shabbat, different types of sinners that remove themselves from being considered part of Am Yisrael and are judged for Gehinnom forever. This is certainly a statement that has shaken quite a few people into doing Teshuva, but at the same token has shaken some of the wicked people out there into heresy, even further heresy than they were already in, by trying to contradict it time and time again. But of course, after the movie Gehinnom, anyone that has actually watched that movie simply was left without any type of doubt, without any type of rebuttal, because you have 172 sources from the Torah across the spectrum of the Torah, whether it's the 5 books of Moses, like Parashat Korach, or it's in the Nevi'im, like the last verse in the book of Isaiah, or it's in a Gemara, like Masechet Rosh Hashanah, or the Zohar, or many other places in Chassidut, the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Elimelech Milizhensk, Rabbi Zusha Minapoli, all of the great Chachamim that have discussed this subject extensively. And quite frankly, the more you delve into this subject, the more you realize how much of a standard subject this is among all of the Chachamim, and needless to say, how off and how mistaken are those people that simply do not want to believe in Gehinnom, do not want to believe in judgment, as the sages have mentioned in the Gemara in many places. Simply put, people are forcing themselves into Gehinnom because of their stubbornness. Now, here we have a very common issue that there are certain people that will claim that either Avraham Avinu, Avraham Avinu, our forefather, or Rabbi Nachman Breslev, or somebody else. I'm sure there's others that are mentioned, will save them from Gehinnom. Many times you hear Breslevers that are unlearned. And the reason why I say unlearned is because you'll find out today. Why unlearned? Tell people that, listen, no matter what, Rabbi Nachman Breslev will take you out of Gehinnom if you go to Uman. If you go to Uman, and at this time, with the war at hand, put your life at risk, mamash. In previous years, it's put your eternity at risk, mamash, because of all the promiscuity and immorality that's surrounding the area. If you don't protect yourself, accordingly, you could easily go to Rabbi Nachman Breslev to make a mitzvah of chesed to the tzaddik, but at the same token lose your olam haba because of all the immorality that goes on there for those very same unlearned people that are simply going to party. But needless to say, there are many righteous people that have gone there, many righteous people that continue to go there. This is not an attack on them by any stretch of the imagination. This is a rebuttal and a clarification for all of those people that simply want to believe. They want to believe that there is a get-out-of-jail-free card in Judaism, that there is a get-out-of-jail-free card in life, where you could simply do what you please, but simply do one act, such as go visit the tzaddik at his gravesite, or do some other single act and be relieved of all of your problems, all of the judgments against you, and even say, listen, I'm a descendant of a big tzaddik. Many times I've heard young men and women tell me that, listen, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, he's a big tzaddik. Okay, who is he? And he'll tell me a name, and sometimes I'll recognize the name, and it will be a very, very big tzaddik indeed. And you say, wait a minute, you come from this tzaddik, he was married to a tzaddikah, they had many, many tzaddikim kids, everyone is righteous, what happened to you? Like, okay, everybody's great, but how did you turn out into Mechalel Shabbat, going out with non-Jewish girlfriend, this, that, what happened? And of course, everybody has some type of story, and it's generally speaking, it's always some type of lust, some type of a connection to immorality, a mistaken path, but they all mean well. And at the same token, they all give themselves hope, and sometimes that hope is a false hope that somebody else sells them. By telling them, listen, don't worry, your grandfather or your father is a big tzaddik, or your brother or your son is a big tzaddik, so don't worry. Or the worst yet is when somebody tells them, listen, Rabbi Nachman, or the Lubavitcher Rebbe, or even Avraham Avinu, he's not going to let you go to Gehinnom, don't worry, everything is going to be fine. Now, of course, anyone that has watched our shiurim throughout the years knows that this is obviously nonsense. And there's simply no other word to call it, and you'll see later on today why. But even if you haven't watched our shiurim, but you simply have studied, you've studied Torah, you've gone through the Shas at least once, you have read the Shulchan Aruch, you have gone through the Chumash even, with commentary by Rashi or Onkelos, and actually understood what the verses say, you'll simply understand that these things are just antithetical to the Torah itself. But of course, what we want to do is to give even further clarification and elaborate on this point, because tonight the Chazon Ish is letting us know that there is an advantage. There is a huge advantage for those unique people that are born into a very special family, a family of tzaddikim. There's extraordinary families throughout in Judaism, whether it's the Pinto family, that's a very famous family that Baruch Hashem for the last almost 600-700 years, you have many righteous people come from that family, or the Abu Chatzira family that Baruch Hashem has had a endless number of tzaddikim Be'ezrat Hashem Ken Yirbu. So you have many tzaddikim that have gone, that are still here, that are the families themselves have a continuous lineage of righteous people. The genealogy simply works. It's like literally you see one righteous person after another, and the Chazon Ish brings this up. He brings this up in order to let us know if this advantage is, number one, is it real? Well, we already know at least from the outside perspective it is, but we could go into it a little deeper. Number two, is it a disadvantage that you weren't born as the grandson of the Baba Sali, or as the son of one of the Pinto tzaddikim, or one of the great kids of Rav Ovadia, or any of the others? Is it a disadvantage? Should you cry foul? But perhaps, if it's an advantage to be born to them, why isn't it enough for us to be connected to a tzaddik, whether it's by learning his Torah, like Rabbi Nachman of Breslev, or the one of the 7 Rebbes of Chabad, or one of the other tzaddikim in Chassidut, whether it's the Bobov or Tzanz, or many righteous people, or best yet, if you're simply a Jew, you're connected to Avraham Avinu. Isn't that enough? Can't you simply have all of those benefits just by simply saying that you're the grandson of Avraham Avinu? I mean, that should be enough. I mean, he's certainly bigger than any of the other tzaddikim that followed him. It's just, we already know there's a degradation of the generation. Our forefather, obviously, Avraham Avinu, is above them all. So isn't it enough that Avraham Avinu will pray for you? Avraham Avinu will take you out of Gehinnom. Theoretically speaking, this is what people would want to believe. Well, tonight we're actually going to find out, what does Avraham Avinu say about this? And better yet, can we inherit any of these good genes, these spiritual genes, from maybe not our forefathers, maybe not our grandfathers even, but perhaps maybe at least from our parents? If you have a father that's a very righteous person, do you inherit those spiritual genes? Let me know what you think, and make sure to share it, because other people need to learn too.